The news actually focuses on a ton of negativity. It can be used in a good way, things that are going on in different areas. But what I tend to find, the reason why I don't actually watch the news, I tend to feel drained after watching the news. I'm not better about the world. I don't feel inspired. I don't feel motivated. I don't feel like I want to go out and tackle things that I want to tackle. It actually detracts from me. I think also that the news doesn't give us a holistic perspective. The news tends to focus on all of the negative that is going on in the world. The more negative, the better for the news, because that's breaking news, that's something that they can drag out, it's something that they can focus on all the while. I just don't think that is a productive focus for many people that are consumers of the news. For me personally, I think it's not good to watch unless focus you as an individual, promote your education, your enlightenment. It's these types of things that the news doesn't really focus on. And that is one of the major reasons why I don't watch the news, because it doesn't progress or evolve me as an individual, and it doesn't make me feel better at all. There are some channels that I watch. NHK World, basically like a Japanese channel, educates you on Japanese culture. They're advancing in technology, how they pay attention to certain tradition, revitalizing certain areas, how their economy, their whole system is changing and evolving and becoming, in some areas more up to date, but in some areas falling behind. Interesting, because it's almost in the form of a documentary, and you feel better and smarter for every sort of episode that you watch, because you've learned more about the Japanese culture, how they perceive things, how they used to do things back in the day, how that has changed and evolved, or how it has been maintained despite evolution within their society and technological advancements, right? It's so interesting and it inspires, right? I feel energized and I feel like, wow, I didn't know that before. The other day I was watching this episode on the Japanese tiles on their shrines. These aren't just like flat tiles or the kind of curved tiles that you get over UK and the West. These are intricate tiles, spiral designs, and you know, they're cylindrical in some areas. They've got all of this feature and decorative attention and detail to them. And these were handcrafted one by one by one by one. Process to that. And in this episode, they took you through the process and showed you from start to finish how they come up with the tiles. They take weeks. Imagine that, thousands of tiles on a Japanese shrine and the intricacies, and then they have to create the statues, because what they actually believed was evil spirits and demons may try to enter the shrine. Only these guardian spirits and lords in the forms of intricate statues to ward off these evil spirits. So that's part of the decorative design, that you learn the history and the belief systems behind everything that they do, you know? So that's a good example of a type of news to watch, because it's educating you at the same time. You become enlightened, you become more aware, you become more understanding of how people do things and how the society is formed and how it's evolved over time. It's educated me. I feel better within myself. I've learned something new. I've evolved as a person. I'm better for watching that form of media, right? So those types of media in essence are the best types of media to watch, the types of media that you grow from. If you're watching media that detracts from you, weakens you, and makes you feel a certain way negatively, that doesn't particularly set you up for a productive day or night. You want to be watching stuff that's evolving you and progressing you in a certain type of way, in line with your goals and aspirations. Entertaining types of media that pull you away from that goal, it's not good, because at the end of the day, you're damaging your mental. It propagates throughout your life. So the news is definitely one of these types of media. Examples like I gave earlier, feel better, I'm educated, I'm better, I grow for watching that. Those are the types of media that I entertain. And it's the same across board. YouTube, when I'm watching things like TikTok, when I'm looking at things on Instagram, I tend to navigate more to those forms of media. Now the issue is, there are certain platforms that don't really lean towards that type of media, unfortunately. And I tend to stay off those platforms. Why? Because again, they promote types of media that I'm not able to grow in a productive and positive way from. Negatively impact the way that I'm able to do things. They'll make me less productive. They'll give me a negative outlook towards the world and towards different groups of people. That's something that the news is actually very good at. The reason there is a lot of disconnect and disparity between different people is because it's actually marketed towards us, right? We are brainwashed often. We're brainwashed often often by the news and different types of media, and you've got to be very aware of the mechanisms, mechanics, because if you fall prey to those, then you will have a certain outlook towards different groups of people and different types of things. So a good example is before President Trump came into administration, he was basically bad-mouthing Mexican people. He was saying Mexican people are like this. They are more likely to people. They're more likely to hurt people, cause crimes and do different things to people. At the end of the day, they're people. Like everybody, you may have a certain type of outlook on a particular group of people and say, oh, you know, in their country they do this, or in their country they do that. They act this certain type of way in their country. And I'm talking about in a negative type of way. I want you to understand that if you were in a negative environment where a lot of people around you are negative, or there are a lot of negative things happening in your environment, it's going to affect your mentality. It's going to affect the way that you see things. It's going to affect the way that you act. If you aren't getting a certain amount of income and finance and you were struggling to eat, you were going to go to great lengths to satiate those needs. They are not wants, they are needs. So if you are not getting food and you've got no way to get money, there are shops or institutions that provide food. You are going to, at some point, take food out of the shop and get what you need because you need it. Desperate at that point. They're in a certain type of environment where there is a promoted need to do those things because of scarcity. Right? And if you were in that type of environment or situation, you would do the same thing too. Same reason why homeless people are likely to do those things. They're at a point of desperation. And it's not exactly easy to get work. It's not exactly easy to get back on the ladder. It's not exactly easy to integrate back into the society once they've labeled you and deemed you an outcast. And a lot of people haven't been in that situation, been in certain areas of society, have acknowledged these things and noticed these things and felt the impact of these things, because that is how society is. If you fall in a certain category, you are labeled, you are deemed an outcast to certain degrees, and you are prevented access to certain things that could help you and put you in a better position. Right? That's not afforded to everyone. These things aren't afforded to everyone. You need to be in a certain area of society in order to experience and acknowledge these things. A lot of people think it's just a given. It's not just a given. So if you, and I don't care how rich you are, what point you are at the financial rung, right? You could be middle class, you could be high class, you could be totally rich, poor. If you're poor, you know what I'm talking about though. If you're at any point in that rung, if you were put in that position, you would act the same way, because you are doing what you need to do in order to survive. You're not doing it out of convenience because it's inconvenience. If you do certain things, it's more likely for the law to pick up on your ass, make things hard for you. But at the end of the day, you might need to get through. You might need to get by. You might need to survive. I want you to understand, it's not race, it's not culture, it's not creed and all this kind of stuff. It's not sex, not gender. It's desperation, it's the environment. That includes people that are around, it's that mentality. But that mentality is there for a reason, because things have gone on in the environment, in and around them. That is why they perceive things a certain way. That is why they'll go to these lengths to do these certain things. The situation that they've grown up in. It's not easy to get things that we in the Western world take for granted. I'm telling you now, if you weren't getting food, you couldn't get work, etc., etc., you'd have to. You get to that point. For some, it may take longer than others, granted. But at the end of the day, when you got to that point, you would do what you needed to do. Getting back to my original point, Trump was bad-mouthing Mexican, coloring a lot of people's perception of those people. But at the end of the day, they're people. Some are gonna be freaking rich, extremely intelligent, act the right way, and have good hearts. Yeah, there are gonna be some bad people, but there are bad people in every single race, every single culture, every single creed. They're no different, is basically my point, right? We're all people. It doesn't matter what color we are, what sex we are, etc. We're all people, man. There's bad people, there's good people in every single race and walk of life. You know what I'm saying? When he's saying those things, he's not selling truths, because that whole group of people are not bad. That whole group of people don't do the acts that he was saying. And yet he's colored a lot of people's perceptions and opinion of those people. Propaganda, it's no different to what Hitler did. You know what I mean? And he was wrong about those people too. The news is a tool to brainwash, negatively impact you a lot of the time. In the UK, the way that they colour people's opinions and perceptions is over here, they do it on immigrants. So a lot of people in the UK look towards immigrants badly because they watch the news. The BS excuses of politicians that can't do their jobs properly, and they'll be like, it's because of these groups of people coming over and taking all of our resources and doing this, that and the other that the country's doing badly. It's a convenient excuse and a scapegoat to blame other people, right? But those people are fine. They're just doing the best that they can do for themselves. It's no different to what we're doing. No different at all. Absolutely no difference. But the news won't tell you that. And the news won't say that. I want you to hear this. When a news outlet starts saying, this group of people, don't listen, whatever follows is going to be rubbish. That's the point at which I switch off. They're going into these generalizations. That's the point at which they're injecting the brainwashing. I have no problem with immigrants, whatever level they're at. If they're not very wealthy immigrants, they're coming over to benefit themselves, to better their lives. I would do the same in their position. I would do the same. You would too. You are literally doing it now. Are you not trying to better your life and better yourself and be in better positions? If someone came across and said, here's an opportunity for you to make more money, would you not take that opportunity with both hands? Would you not jump at it? I think you would. So you're no different to these immigrants. They're just seeking opportunity and going for it. They're grabbing it with both hands. And it's as simple as that. We shouldn't hate them for it, and we shouldn't hate any particular group of people just because someone else says so. And especially someone with a motive, like on the news. You just take people for who they are, and you don't know these people, so get to know them and then take them for who they are. Individual, case by case. It's as simple as that. That is why I don't watch the news. They're the reason for your problems, your woes. This large group of people have come over just so that you can blame them for all of your problems. How convenient for you. It's not how it works, and it's not how it is. So don't listen to these lies and the brainwashing, because it's just straight up not true. That's the news. Those are several reasons why I don't watch the news, and why the news tells lies and doesn't make sense, and just really is used as a tool to brainwash you and build up hate and resentment within yourself towards different types of people. And what does that do? That builds disconnect, disparity. It builds divide between us, when really we should all be looking to connect, form strong bonds between each other, because we've got a lot more in common than not. We've got a lot more in common with lots of different types of people than not, right? So why the heck are we entertaining these tools that just divide us? It doesn't make any sense. Another type of media that's not very good for us are types of media that we are not able to grow from. So if we take it over again to like Instagram, TikTok, these different types of forms of media, we're seeing short clips. It doesn't strengthen attention span. We're constantly scrolling to see the next. We're searching for these short dopamine hits. What we could do is aim for a long dopamine hit that allows us to grow as well. We go through a growth period while entertaining these longer forms of social media. If we entertain these short ones, it teaches us through repetition to not pay attention for that long. We find it hard, we find it struggle to concentrate for long periods. What does that do? Shortens our attention span, weakens our ability to focus, weakens our ability to learn and educate ourselves over long periods. That is the action that we're constantly repeating. If you repeat an action, you are strengthening that action, whatever that action may be. It is why we shouldn't repeat actions that are negative or unproductive, because that teaches us to repeat that process, and we are weakening actions that make us more productive, that make us stronger, that make us grow in good ways. We don't want to do the opposite of that. You may really love these platforms because, hey, TikTok's your thing, Instagram's your thing. At the very least, just make sure the content that you're consuming is productive and can grow from. I myself do not spend that much time on Instagram or TikTok because of these reasons. I spend most of my time on YouTube, medium to long form content more often than not. There are some educative forms of short content, right? So I will entertain those, but I won't entertain those in mass. I won't watch a ton of those. I'll watch 1 or 2 a day, if that. My main focus is going to be long form videos that educate me and that I can grow from. So I will watch long form videos when I have the time to watch long form videos. And then once I've watched those long form videos, I'm much smarter, aware, and educated for doing so. I focus on content that at the end of the day is gonna make me better and that I can learn something from. That is what you all need to be doing, because every single time that you're doing that, you're better for it. It's the same thing with audiobooks or books, any type of media that you can learn from. If you want to be a stronger person that has a wealth of attention, a wealth of focus, and an ability to pursue what it is that's important to them and lock into that and grow and become a better person, then you don't want to really be entertaining or spending a ton of time on short form media. You don't want to be watching the news. You don't want to be on platforms that lean towards short form, uneducated media that you can't grow from. Throw down in the comment section, holler back and let me know what you think of the video, what your thoughts are about anti-social media. Appreciate, love you all, and have a fantastic day today. I'll see you for the next video. Take it easy.